David Racing Team, an aqua blue and black Volkswagen Golf TCR. You will see that appear. He did a great job in the number 26 car during qualifying. Just a second off the pace, but first time in that car for him, but very experienced campaigner in this part of the world. And of course, Macau just about 30 or 40 kilometres down the road. So basically a local. In fact, this circuit is very much considered the home circuit for the many drivers in Macau and of course in Hong Kong, just across the Pearl River. Position number 8, Abdul Katir, the second of the R Engineering Honda Civic TCRs. Did a great job during qualifying, not quite as comfortable as his more experienced teammate, but he did a great job. Then followed by Alex Liu and championship points leader Diego Moran. We'll get to that shortly. Here it is, Zhuhai International Circuit, 4.319 kilometres, the first permanent circuit built on mainland China. Opened in 1996, was in fact scheduled on the provisional 1999 Formula One calendar. And there's your pole man, Jasper Thong, very happy to be where he is, but of course now the nerves are starting to build because he has to take off from a standing start, and we saw, unfortunately for him, 2 fairly average standing starts during the opening event in Sepang. So he's gone away and done a lot of work on data. He's done a lot of practice starts and he's ready to go. WS Live, very impressive yesterday, only 6/100ths of a second from pole position. Admits he still has a fair bit to learn. So we just continue on down the order. Position number 11 went to Douglas Koo. SK Tong, the third of the Phoenix Racing Asia Audis. You see the lovely KW girls there representing our fantastic sponsor KW Suspensions. Douglas Koo, position number 11 is 1:49.1. He's a little bit further off the pace than he would have liked, but couldn't make enough of the practice sessions prior because of the changeable conditions. He was frustrated with not being able to have a run. He said, I'd either want it wet or all dry, and we just haven't had that luxury through pre-event testing and even up to practice. In fact, qualifying was about the first real permanent dry opportunity that they had. There's Kennedy Kasiri, second in the championship points. Welcome to all the Thai fans who are here watching closely how his performance goes, along with that of his long-time Thai rival, Tin Srichai, one of the pre-event favourites for the 2017 TCR Asia Series. There's Terry Huang, brilliant debut yesterday. In fact, the 2 Tianchi Racing Team cars finished the opening leg of qualifying in positions 1 and positions 2. We'll get to that in just a second. Alex Fong, who many of the Hong Kong fans will recognise, a former Olympic swimmer for Hong Kong, record holder, now an actor and a singer, has made his debut this weekend with Audi Hong Kong in the second of the team cars, the grey and gold, a beautiful looking car for the Hong Kong native. And Eric Kay rounds out the field, unfortunately made an error during the opening lap, or his opening lap of qualifying, and failed to record a time. Very frustrated with himself. We've seen him on the podium in the first season, in fact the very first race of TCR Asia back in 2015 at Sepang. There is Philippe D'Souza, now in the Macau David Racing Team car. Used to seeing him, of course, in the Liquimoli car alongside 2016 champion Andy Yan. But 2 new drivers in the cars this time around. Unfortunately for Diego Moran, the championship points leader, he's comfortably clear in the points now after qualifying, 47 points to Kennedy Kasiri's 35. WS Lie's front row starting position and top qualifying effort brings him up to 34 points. He's third in the championship. But Diego Moran had a spin on his fastest lap halfway through the qualifying session. You can actually see the marks in the on the grass on the left-hand side in the back screen there. Came out of the last corner, put a couple of wheels just over the edge of the curb. That spun him hard into the gravel on the left of screen there. And he was fortunate actually not to hit the wall. But they couldn't recover the car till the end of the session. And once they got it back, the Liquimoli Team Engsler crew didn't have long to tidy him up, send him back out again. And unfortunately for him, he couldn't get tyre temperature up in time in the second leg of qualifying, the top 10 shootout, which of course is only 10 minutes rather, after the first leg of qualifying, and he was unable to improve his P10 starting position. Disappointing for him. He was P4 at the time and on his fastest lap. So he will start both these races from position 10. Of course, the starting position of race 2 is an inverted grid, the top 8 qualifying positions will be inverted. So we have a green flag, the field will roll around and come back and line up for the start. So here's the starting grid. Jasper Thong, the 17-year-old from Hong Kong, representing Audi Hong Kong on pole. W.S. Lai in the R Engineering Honda Civic TCR in position 2. And it's David Chen for Tianchi Racing Team, the brand new, you can see it there, green and gold Audi RS3 LMS. Kennedy Kasiri alongside him. Third row was Terry Huang and Tin Srichai. And it's Philippe Souza in the Macau David Racing Team car. You can see it there, the aqua blue car in the middle of the screen. And Abdul Katir for R Engineering in the second of the TCR Hondas. Alex Liu for the Elegant Racing Team on the 5th row alongside championship points leader Diego Moran. And it's Douglas Koo and SK Tong. And behind them, rounding out the field, will be the final 2 cars in this field for round 3 of the championship. And that's Alex Fong for Audi Hong Kong and Eric Kay as the second of the Elegant Racing Team cars. So we have a fairly solid field, and as we say, 37/100ths of a second separating the top 6 cars in this field. So it's going to be very tight. Weather won't come into this as an issue. Starting will perhaps come into this as an issue. I think you could put a little bit of your money, if you're a betting person, onto the number 39 car, just going through the screen there, as being one of those that may have an advantage with being able to get away from this field for the start of this race. Now, interestingly, in qualifying, it was a Tianchi Racing car, the number 88 car of David Chen, who was actually on pole position after the second leg of qualifying. But coming up to turn 4, unfortunately, which we're not too far from, he went across what was track limits. So you'll see at turn 4, very hard left-hander. They're heading down towards that now. He managed to, in fact, they've gone further on now. They're heading down towards turn 8. It's coming through turn 7. At turn 4, he put all 4 wheels across the curb, and he's had a spin. In fact, that's his teammate. That's Terry Huang trying to get tyre temperature into the second of the Tianchi Racing Audis. That's not the way he wanted to start. Both these drivers very experienced at Zhuhai, but David Chen put all 4 wheels across the curb in at turn 4. The stewards looked at that after the session and actually took his top time away, which was disappointing for the team, because they would then have had the record of being the very first pole sitters for the Audi RS3 LMS TCR. But in the end, that honour went to Audi Hong Kong's Jasper Thong, who will start this race from pole position. On the right side of screen is David Chen pulling in behind him, the man who he defeated for pole position. And alongside, left of screen, the Honda Civic TCR from Jazz Motorsport and R Engineering is W.S. Lai. Getting ready for a start. Green flag will alert the starter that field is in position. Looks like we've got to start. Lights will come on, go out, and we will be away for this standing start. 14 laps, the race distance for round 3 of the 2017 TCR Asia Series from Zhuhai International Raceway in China. Just waiting to go. Red lights, getting ready, building revs, and they're off. And a great start from Jasper Thong. A little bit of wheel spin there, but he's managed to hold position. He's going to pull across in front of W.S. Lai. Brilliant start from the 17-year-old, the pole man. That is Kennedy Kasiri coming up the inside into turn 1, trying to take that position away from the Malaysian. They need to be very careful. A little bit of a wheel lock-up. That may have been Diego Moran. You can see him on screen. Car number 32, the second entry from the Liqui Team Engstler operation, as they race down towards turn 2 and now down to turn 3. Here's turn 4, where they need to be very careful through the left-hander that they don't cross that mark, and they'll get a warning from the stewards, and if they're not careful, could incur a drive-through penalty. But up front is Jasper Thong leading from W.S. Lai. Kennedy Kasiri behind him. Behind him, Tin Srichai looking very racy, and a great start from Abdul Katir up to position number 5. His teammates just lost a position there now to Tin Srichai. He's got some serious speed going on in the Team Thailand Honda Civic TCR. Heading down now to turn 9. Tight left-hander and positions there. Oh, good dive up the inside. That looks like it's David Chen trying to take position away. Very wide for W.S. Lai. He's thrown it away on the exit of turn number 9. That's dropped him well back down the order. That's frustration after such a great qualifying effort. He's back to about position number 6 or 7 now. Really caught in the mix. Wants to be very careful. Diego Moran up from position 10 to be battling ahead of him and on the tail of Abdul Katir, looking for a position past David Chen. WS Lai looking to recover, but now he's got another of the Tianchi Racing Audis all over his rear bumper, as that is Terry Wang looking to move forward and make the most of his experience here at Zhuhai, as David Chen comes under fire from Abdul Katir into the final turn. But up front, he's managed to stay in front. Fastest lap, obviously, off the start. 152.5 for Jasper Tong in the Audi Hong Kong's car. Now, we know he's fast in the dry, but what's going to happen when he comes under fire from the 2 tyres? A very tight line into turn 1 from Tin Srichai to try and take that position away from Kennedy Kasiri. Oh, and he's had a spin. He's gone in too deep and too wide on the exit and has spun into the gravel trap. That opens the door up for Kennedy Kasiri to get away and chase the tail of the number 5 Audi. But that's frustration for Tin Srichai. He didn't need to start this race like that. He needs some championship points. One of the pre-season favourites in this championship, and it just hasn't worked out at all well for him. So he's embedded in the gravel there at turn 14. No, in fact, that's down at the exit at turn 1, turn 2. So just reading what is here in front of me on screen. That isn't 100% correct. But anyway, 13 laps to go. 1 lap completed. Jasper Tong leads comfortably, but he has, SK Tong having a spin on the exit there. That has forced, looks like Eric Kay, who's been having a fairly torrid time on his return to TCR Asia. That's forced him off circuit and dropped him back down the order. A little bit of contact. One wonders whether that was as a result of a move. We'll find out, no doubt, post-race. We'll explain more about that for race 2 this afternoon. So we have Jasper Tong continuing to lead over Kennedy Kasiri. The two of them have a big margin now over David Chen. You can see just ahead of this pack. Oh, in fact, there he is there. That's David Chen leading Diego Moran up from position 10 already to position number 4. Abdul Katir leading Terry Wang in position number 5 and position number 6. See the yellow flag being waved to alert the field that up at turn 1 there is a beached Team Thailand Honda Civic TCR continuing to lead at the front. Jasper Tong, during dry running over a couple of days leading up to qualifying, the fastest man in those dry legs was in fact Jasper Tong, so he is showing good pace. Kennedy Kasiri admitted that both the Audi and the Honda were a little bit quicker in a straight line. He wasn't sure how he was going to combat that, but he wanted to get a good start, which he has done, and then he believes that over a race distance he will be able to wear down his opponents. He felt that the real advantage for the Volkswagen, just going through on screen there, was in the corners. So both he and Diego Moran can be expected to move forward as this 14-lap race unfolds. Terry Wang there in the Tianchi Racing car, brand new. This made the circuit for the first time on Friday. Likewise, teammate David Chen, he got his car a little bit earlier and that was ready to go. And SK Tong's day is going from bad to worse, unfortunately for the Hong Kong driver. In the Tarmac Works RS3 LMS for Phoenix Racing Asia, that looks very much like he will be out of this race. He's fairly well beached, and that'll be frustration. He's not had the greatest run this weekend, whilst his two teammates have done a very nice job. In fact, looking a little bit further down the order, we're looking for Alex Fong, who in fact hasn't made it through the opening lap. If we look back down the order, such has been the action at the front of the field, Alex Fong has disappeared from the screen. So frustration for Phoenix Racing Asia. That's two of their cars currently unable to continue, whilst up front their third car, that of poleman Jasper Tong, is leading this race, and he has a very determined Thai driver who at the end of this could well become the championship points leader, although that it does depend on how far up the field Diego Moran on screen now can actually make it up the order to maintain that advantage that he brought into this race by 12 points over his teammate. A little bit more contact further back in the field. That looked like it was immediately behind Philippe Sousa, which is Alex Liu and Douglas Koo fighting for position. But up front, it is Jasper Tong. Second is Kennedy Kasiri, and in fact the fastest mover by the look of that too is David Chen. He appears to be reeling in the drivers ahead of him, so 46.27 for Jasper Thong. That's his best so far. That was on lap number 2, 46.5 for Kennedy Kasiri. And in fact, fastest man on track is Tin Srichrai. Now that's good news. That tends to suggest he's managed to get his car out of the gravel at turn 1 and continued on. 1:45.151. You can see it on screen there. The Team Thailand Honda Civic TCR, but he is back in position number 11. The fastest of the front cars, as we were just alluding to, is Kennedy Kasiri's doing what he can to try and unsettle Jasper Thong. It's not a bad theory when you've got a driver in his mid-20s with lots of experience against a 17-year-old who's making his debut in touring cars in TCR Asia. No doubt he has Marchie Lee in his ear, the co-team principal of Phoenix Racing Asia, just telling him to calm down, focus on what he has to do and not worry about what's going on behind him, which is a fairly mobile Thai driver as he comes through the final corner. Need to be careful too there of track limits. Now the track limits at turn 4, as you see David Chen's really hauling in now. 45.3 last time round, so his pace is incredible. Very experienced here. First time in a TCR car this weekend, but of course ran towards the front of the China GT Championship last year in an Audi R8 alongside experienced Italian GT campaigner Max Visa. Now he lost a bit of space. You could see it there on the exit of turn 2. He put 2 wheels on the grass. That dropped him a bit of time. But leading quite comfortably, 17 seconds now down, is Tin Srichrai. That's a lot of work to make up. But leading quite comfortably at this stage, or at least he looks comfortable. He does have that Thai driver in his mirrors looming large, is Jasper Thong. And behind, you can see that is Terry Huang in the second of the Tianchi Racing cars, the Audi RS3 LMS, all over championship points leader Diego Moran. So up front, Kasiri will be wanting to get further ahead, and you can see that now the 2 Tianchi Racing Audis are together as Terry Huang's made his way past Diego Moran. So to increase his advantage, Kennedy Kasiri really wants to get past the number 5 Audi, but Jasper Thong really wants to convert Audi's first pole position with the brand new RS3 LMS into victory. He's driving very defensive lines, and there it is, the crossover with Kasiri. He's managed to go side by side. Now you've got to be very careful here. The 2 of them are side by side still, heading down to turn 9. There's a drag race. It looks like it's gone back to Jasper Thong. He wasn't giving up easily. That was a great run. In fact, that's coming through the final corner now. So that was down 11, 12 and through 13. Side by side, banging doors. So Jasper Thong knows he needs to be careful. He needs to drive a semi-defensive line. As now David Chen's come into this equation. Fires up the inside of both of them, under brakes into turn 1 and takes the lead away. But will he do what Srichrai has? He has. He's gone in too deep and across the gravel and basically thrown it away. That's amazing. Well, he tried his local knowledge. He went in deep, but he went in too deep, and that allows the 2 to continue on. So 1 Tianchi Racing Audi down, second one to come, as now it's Terry Huang is closing in on the 2 leaders, and he will try his hand and his local knowledge at trying to put that green and gold Audi onto the podium and look, of course, for the top step. But at the moment, great job by Jasper Thong, the 17-year-old, in his first season of front-wheel drive turbo touring cars with this fantastic TCR concept, is leading at the front of the field. And he has one of the stars of this category, a driver who, up until the second race in Sepang, had been undefeated in a TCR car. And that, of course, is Kennedy Kasiri in the number 2 Liqui Team Engsler Volkswagen. Still looking very racy. He'll be doing what he can to try and find an opportunity past the young Audi driver. And of course, Jasper Thong, as we're saying, needs to balance driving a defensive line with maintaining his speed, because the more you drive a protective line, the more speed you lose, and that just opens the opportunity for the driver behind. Now, Kasiri's done touring car racing for a very, very long time, very experienced in his home country, has raced open wheelers in Europe in Formula 3. Jasper Thong, of course, is a champion in the Asian Formula Renault Championship. He won Class B last year and has some good experience to draw on. Of course, his older brother, Sean Thong, is one of the stars, and certainly one of the rising stars of motorsport in Hong Kong, one of the stars of the Phoenix Racing Asia squad, having won a number of races in 2016 alongside team boss Marchie Lee. is the Nisa Racing opposition, the Viper Nisa Racing crew from Malaysia, keeping a close eye on Douglas Koo, currently in position 9 and 3rd, and on the podium in the TCR Cup points. Of course, the leader of the TCR Cup is the man on screen who's leading this race, and that is Jasper Thong in the grey, silver and red, the stunning Berserk design livery of Audi Hong Kong and Phoenix Racing Asia. Now, frustration for Alex Fong. He did a great job during practice in very, very changeable conditions. He did laugh that he was a sportsman and a swimmer, so the wet was conditions that he was used to, and he did a great job. Didn't really put a foot wrong, improved his pace under the guidance of Marchie Lee across the race, across the sessions, and managed to qualify with his personal best in position 13. So frustration that he hasn't been able to convert this to a race start. His goal for the weekend was to finish 2 races, and unfortunately for him, no laps recorded for that car. Now, it too is brand new, so there may have been some teething issues. We did see a couple of little minor teething issues, one of which was the windscreen wiper electronics failing to work, which looked to be just a fuse or a wire during one of the sessions, so obviously he couldn't go out in the rain. But apart from that, these new Audis, as the Tianchi Racing team have shown, have been very, very faultless straight out of the container. Now on screen, Douglas Koo and the number 99 car of Alex Liu battling for the honours for Sayat Sport. Of course, Sayat, one of the stalwarts of the TCR series internationally right from the very beginning. In fact, very much the foundation around which these 2-litre turbo 4-door touring cars were based. And it's nice to see them back there battling for the Spanish mark. But up front, it's a German mark leading another German mark and a 3rd German car. Of course, all 3 from those stables. It was related to some level, so too say it. It's part of the same Volkswagen family. And on screen is Terry Wang, who's done a great job. Hasn't done a lot of miles in a lot of categories. Of course, has in the past raced GT cars, much like David Chen, but that was many years ago. They do have a team based here at Zhuhai. They do know the circuit very well, and from the outset with these 2 lovely Audis, they have been very quick here on their home circuit. So there is something to be said for local knowledge. They did finish the first qualifying session in positions 1 and 2, and unfortunately fell back just a little bit, but very little separating the top teams. And they will get an opportunity in the second race this afternoon, which will start at 4:40 local time, to move a little bit further forward in the field, because of course the field is inverted. The top 8 from qualifying will be inverted for the start of the second race, and that will put Abdul Katir in the number 23 R Engineering Honda on pole position, as Jasper Thong continues to circulate at the front of this field. Doesn't look at this stage like Kennedy Kasiri can do much about it, but he's in the perfect position. He's only 0.8 of a second behind as they continue to circulate in the 145s. Now that's pretty impressive given, sad for David Chen, you can see him parked on the left of screen, so that's game over for him. They did qualify in the 144s. In fact, 144.9 was the pole time. They're circulating now in a 145.6. In fact, the quickest lap so far, 145.1 for Tin Sritre. He's now up to position number 8 and closing in on Philippe de Souza for position number 7. WS Lai a little bit further back. He's circulating a little slower, but he's a 1.5 seconds back from his teammate Abdul Katir. And AK currently shown in position 5. Replay off the start. Brilliant start from Jasper Thong. All that research and pre-planning had worked out perfectly. Look further back as Srichai looks to move forward. He's up to position number 4, so that was not a bad start. Abdul Katir up from position 8 to position 5, which was a good move for him in the second of the R Engineering Hondas. So a nice job so far. So this would be good championship points for the front runners. That goes without saying, but 25 championship points would go to Jasper Thong, who's currently outright 5th in the championship. Ahead of him, Tin Srichai, who's seemingly not going to score as well this race. WS Lai was in position 3, 34 points, just 1 point behind the man on screen, Kennedy Kasiri, who's in position 2. Now he seems to have dropped back in that lap as he crosses the line. the screen will refresh. No, he's only lost 3/10. And it was a 46-1 for him, while still Jasper Thong, this is a very impressive, consistent pace. 1:45.829. It's 45.7 the lap before. 45.6 is his best. This is what a team boss wants, somebody who's going to consistently pump out laps. Unfortunately for Jasper, if we add water at any stage during this event, it could have a very profound effect because he wasn't anywhere near as quick in the rain. And that comes down, let's be fair, comes down to experience with this type of formula. Drivers around him have had a lot of saloon car experience. When we say saloon cars, production cars, touring cars, but certainly very different to the experience that Jasper Thong draws on coming into this championship as pretty much an open wheel campaigner to this point. There's Tin Srichrai. Now he's got an opportunity to really move up the order. Diego Moran dropping back but holding on to position 4 and pretty comfortably clear. Now WS Lai, look at this, he's taken two of them, including WS Lai, in one move. And he's not all that far behind Abdul Katir with 5 laps to go. You can see them on screen. Katir in position number 5. Tin Srichrai now up to position number 6. Philippe Sousa position 7. And WS Lai really not showing the pace that he showed us during qualifying, where he missed pole position by just 6/100ths of a second in the lead Engineering Honda Civic. Back in position number 6 now and circulating in 1:47. So frustration for the Malaysian driver, who really enjoyed yesterday. Looked like he'd find a little bit extra in the car and hasn't been able to extract that today during the opening race. Points are important, and certainly there will be a good haul of points come through. So we see 4 laps to go, 10 laps in the book. Faster last lap round for Candide Kasiri than Jasper Thong. He's dropped outside of his window now, 1:46.1. So there's a couple of tenths regained there by Kasiri last time round. Terry Huang, 1:46 dead, 3.6 seconds back from the leader. On screen, you've got the 2 Hondas, and Philippe Sousa is doing a pretty good job of locking in on the tail there of Tin Srichrai. Of course, we're racing for a number of championships. The outright championship, which is currently being led by Diego Moran. The TCR Asia Cup being led by Audi Hong Kong's Jasper Thong, 53 points rather, to Abdul Katir's 47. SK Tong was 30 points, third in that battle, but unfortunately for him, he will not score points after failing to finish with that spin into the gravel on lap number 2. Teams Championship, well, who can deny Liqui Team Engstler? They dominated the championship last year. 5 wins out of the 10 starts, sorry, the 8 starts rather for Andy Yan. 10 starts, 5 wins. Unfortunately for him, too many clashes with China Touring Cars this year. Couldn't get back into the Engstler team. And his position taken by a couple of very able drivers. One of those manhandling his exact car, the championship winning car number 2, Candide Kasiri, car champion. Unfortunately for him, too many clashes with China Touring Cars this year. Couldn't get back into the Engstler team. And his position taken by a couple of very able drivers. One of those manhandling his exact car, the championship winning car number 2, Candide Kasiri, on screen. Now 1.1 seconds, 46.2 last time round for Jasper Thong. Maybe just taking the edge off those Michelin S9L slick tyres. They have 10 tyres across qualifying and the 2 14-lap races to manage as they see fit. Often they just change the fronts, put new front tyres on, because being the drive tyres, they get the most work. And also a 46.3 for Kasiri, so he dropped off a 10th. 46.2, so the pace of the leaders is very much the same. Fastest driver on circuit at present, well, that is in fact the race leader, 46.213, Jasper Thong, as he manages that position. Now, this will be a fantastic way to back up taking pole position. Audi Sport's very first pole position worldwide for the stunning RS3 LMS TCR by taking its very first victory. Of course, we've seen them racing already this season in the TCR International Series. Stefano Camini, the reigning champion, two-time champion of the International Series, carrying the number 1, running the Audi RS3, made the podium in one of the races at the opening round. And now Jasper Thong has taken the German mark to the front, and he wants to stay there. He wants this victory. But again, there is no doubt in my mind that Marchie Lee is on the radio, just keeping his driver calm, ensuring that he just continues to punch out those consistent laps. And we go around one more time. That's 12 laps in the books. 2 laps to go. 1:46.3, 1:45.9 that time. 6/10. Now Kasiri is closing in. If he's going to make a go of this, he really needs to move now. He may have conserved tyres, just calmed the car down a little bit, taken easier lines, less pressure, less temperature on the tyres to mount an assault on the race lead. But he's also very, very wise as a competitor, and he knows too that there is a long championship ahead of him. And Liqui Moly Team Engstler have shown worldwide over many, many years that they know how to manage a team, they know how to win championships. And this is just round 3 of what is a 12-round season for the 2017 TCR Asia Series. 2 laps to go, and here they come. Down to turn 9, Jasper Thong leads the way. Kennedy Kasiri position number 2. Terry Huang in position number 3 for the Tianchi Racing Team. Position number 4, Diego Moran, the championship points leader. Abdul Katir, second in the Cup standings and second in the Cup for this race. Position number 5, Tin Sritre, has moved to within a second and a half. You might just see them at top of the screen there behind Diego Moran. No, not quite, but it's less than a second now between the 2 Honda Civic drivers. So there may well be a change for position. There's Tin Sritre, who is still very quick, a second a lap faster than Abdul Katir last time round, moves towards the front. Now here we come through for the second last time, complete lap number 13. And that is Jasper Thong still leading. 0.6 of a second the gap, but he managed to eke out a stronger gap over that last stanza of the lap. He looks very strong through the final leg out of turn 12, 13 and 14, and managed to pull a bit of a gap. As Sritre is doing everything he can. He's got a couple of last chances. Down at turn 9 will be one of those. He's just gone through that now, doesn't have that opportunity. In fact, that was down through turn 4. He's coming down towards the finish. I missed my location point as Douglas Koo moves across, and then this has allowed Kasiri to pull up alongside. There's going to be another drag race. Will he take the position? Obviously, Thong can see him coming. He's going to try and protect the line as they head now down into turn 9 through the left-hander. He hasn't been able to get it in there, and Kasiri has another look on the exit to try and take the run. He's going to run out of opportunities. Down to the hairpin at turn 11 now will be his best opportunity to try and get the position, but Thong's wise to that. He's been quick through the last part of the lap. Over the last couple of laps, he's been able to eke out a bit more of a gap, but he has to run a protective line. He has to avoid the crossover. A little bit of a tap there from Kasiri as he tries to get up the inside. Thong moves across. He's got one corner to go. The down to turn 13, the kink, and then the right hand to turn 14 to cross the line. Will Kasiri try and take him under brakes? No, he looks like he's got the legs in the number 5 Audi. He's going to come to the final corner. Oh, a little bit crossed up. Don't go too wide, Jasper. Very, very crossed up as he came into the corner, and that'll be a victory for the number 5 Audi Hong Kong car of Jasper Thong. Very close as they come to the line. We need to see what the result was in the end. 0.1 of a second, 0.145 seconds. And there's the Audi China team. Martin Kuhl and Bern Gers with TCR Asia boss David Soninger celebrating what will be the first worldwide victory now for the Audi RS3 LMS TCR. So Jasper Thong takes position number 1. Kennedy Kasiri, the Thai driver for Liqui Moly Team Engstler, position number 2. Terry Huang, position number 3, to get on the podium for the Tianchi Racing Team with their all-new car, which debuted just on Friday, 2.5 seconds off the front. Diego Moran, the championship points leader, position number 4. Tin Srichrai through to position number 5. Abdul Katir, more valuable points for the Cup driver from Malaysia in the R Engineering Honda, position number 6. Position number 7, Felipe de Souza returning for a cameo appearance with the Macau David team racing in the Volkswagen. Position number 8, WS Lai, well further back than we would have expected from the Malaysian, who started this race on the front row. Alex Liu for the Elegant Racing team. Sayat Leon in position number 3, position number 3 rather in the Cup points, position number 9 outright. Eric Kwong, his teammate, moved forward to position 10, and Douglas Koo finished a couple of laps back, classified with 13 laps in the books, so clearly he's had an issue at some point and was lapped towards the end of the race, position number 11. Not classified, of course, David Chen. We saw him go off in that battle for the lead, big dive down the inside to try and take the lead away. And you see down the end of the track there is his car, down the end of turn 1. And SK Tong, unfortunately, also spinning off into the gravel. And sadly, Alex Fong unable to get through the opening lap off the start. Renaud Koneberg, the managing director of Audi Hong Kong and Macau, celebrating his driver's victory, and a worthy celebration this will be for Audi Hong Kong and for Phoenix Racing Asia. And for Audi, that's a fantastic start to their season with the new RS3 LMS campaign. 2 cars on the podium, and a nice result also for the 17-year-old in his first season of the TCR Asia Series, in his first year in a touring car. Very popular result, as his father, KC Tong, getting through to congratulate his son. Sean Thong's down there too, of course, very experienced campaigner with the team. Second for Kennedy Kasiri. He looked for an opportunity. He said if there was one there, he'd take it, but he was also mindful of not striking the trouble that hit him in round 2 of the championship at Sepang, where he made contact with Tin Srichrai, and that forced him 2 laps into the pit. So there it is. Jasper Tong, victory for Audi Hong Kong and the Audi RS3 LMS. 14 laps down in the books. Kennedy Kasiri just 0.145 seconds behind at the line. Terry Huang in position number 3 from Diego Moran, the championship points leader, likely to still hold that advantage going into round 4 this afternoon. Tin Srichrai, great recovery for 5th. Abdul Katir, position number 6. Position number 7 then went to, that would have been Felipe Souza, as unfortunately I've lost the timing screen. And further down the order, Douglas Koo was the last classified finisher after a couple of contact points during the race. So quick recap, Jasper Tong, pole position. He had to do it all to get off the line. WS Live felt pretty confident that his experience in touring cars might provide him a good start, but Jasper Tong did it just about perfectly. You can see a trace of white smoke off the line. It may have been a little bit of wheel spin, but he got a great run. Unfortunately for David Chen in the 88 car, the green car right of screen, he had a fairly bad start, dropped further back from 3rd to about 6th or 7th into turn 1. His teammate too, Terry Huang, moving forward. There's spin there, and everything he could do to try and avoid him. Eric Kwong going around the outside into the gravel, but that was contact. You can see damage on the right rear of SK Tong's tarmac Phoenix Racing Asia Audi, and that was frustration for him. Up front, a lot of pressure being applied from behind by Kennedy Kasiri on Jasper Tong. Initially, they got alongside. They had that great battle heading down to turn 4. Little bit of contact, but Jasper Tong hung tough. Down into turn 1, the local star, David Chen, went down the inside in the Tianchi Racing Audi, and unfortunately for him, out across the gravel. And he went from hero to 0 in the end because he had to park the car, was unable to continue. But he will be back in race 2 this afternoon. Again, this is the final lap. And Kennedy Kasiri tried to touch his way through, just put the number 5 Audi a little bit offline and got very close, managed to pull out of the slipstream, pull alongside to the line, and didn't quite make it. 15/100ths of a second, the margin of victory. That's all it took. And Jasper Tong, valuable championship points, and also the maiden victory for the Audi RS3 LMS TCR anywhere in the world. Great job to him. So here we have the updated championship points. Diego Moran continues to lead. Jasper Tong, by virtue of taking 25 points, moves to 2nd in the championship. And how's this? Kennedy Kasiri, position number 3, 53 points, just 6 points in this championship as we head towards round 4 of the championship, 4:40 p.m. local time this afternoon. So a very interesting race. Nice to see new cars into the championship. The Tianchi racing team made their debut here this weekend. Now here's the TCR Asia Series Cup. Jasper Thong well clear now of Abdul Katir. Alex Liu, SK Tong, Douglas Q and Eric Kay round out that field. But certainly it's going to be celebrations all round for Jasper Thong. He takes not only the outright victory, but of course victory too in the TCR Asia Cup for non-professional drivers, or rather drivers who have not competed at the top level and have good experience. So not quite amateur drivers, but certainly, so I'm talking about the Cup drivers, not quite at an amateur level, but certainly that is the pretense for the TCR Asia Cup, that level of qualification and commitment from them, versus drivers who do this a little bit more regularly. Drivers like W.S. Lai, of course, who is essentially a racing driver. He's a business owner, of course, R Engineering. Kennedy Kasiri, who does an awful lot of racing and effectively could be considered a professional racing driver. Tin Sricharo too is another who focuses a lot of his attentions and his career around motorsport. So they race in a different category. So to see Jasper Thong compete at that level, because still a student, still working on his future, he's managed to take the double here, and of course that historic first victory for Audi. So you can see the Zhuhai International Circuit also will be the scene of the third event of the 2017 Championship. We will be back here in 3 weeks, 12th to 14th of May, for rounds 5 and 6 of the 2017 TCR Asia Series, before moving on to what will be a very, very interesting race, certainly one I can't wait to attend, and that is the Bang Sen Grand Prix, the street race in Thailand, around Bang Sen, about an hour south of the capital, Bangkok. And that will be a very interesting, impressive event, of course a famous event in that part of the world. That will occur on the 1st and 2nd of July. Actually, I believe that date has changed. We'll check that. There has been an update due to things going on in Thailand. 25th to the 27th of August will be Shanghai for the penultimate round of the 2017 Championship, and the final round alongside TCR China, which will make its start for the first time this year as one of the national championships, and the TCR International Series. All three, including TCR Asia Series, will compete at Zhejiang, the new circuit southwest of Shanghai. It's about 150 or so kilometres from the Shanghai city centre, and that will be on the 6th to the 8th of October for the final round of the 2017 TCR Asia Series, ahead of what is likely to be an invitational event at the annual Macau Grand Prix. Things continuing to go on here this weekend for Zhuhai, but for the TCR Asia Series, some stage soon, we hope we'll see the podium for the winners, and a great result again for Jasper Thong, taking victory over Kennedy Kasiri, and a nice job too for Terry Huang on debut for the Tianchi racing team. Tong, of course, doubling up with maximum points in the TCR Asia Cup. That will be good points in the Teams Championship too for Audi Hong Kong. But of course, at the front of that field, you can't deny them. They are the reigning champions and dominated a lot of the 2016 Championship. And that, of course, is Liqui Team Engstler. Very first event for TCR Asia Series in Zhuhai this weekend. Right at the very beginning of the TCR Asia Series program, the first regional championship, first major TCR championship after the TCR International Series to begin in 2015. The very first event was originally scheduled for Zhuhai. In the end, that event, due to delivery of cars more than anything, there had been such a demand on manufacturers like Seat, Ford, Honda, to provide cars that the first event had to be withdrawn from the calendar, and we debuted in the end at Sepang, which is where we were just a month ago for the opening round of the 2017 Championship. Of course, that event was very much a dominated event by the Liquimoli team Engstler operation. They'd lost Andy Yan and Philippe de Souza. They had moved on to other things, unfortunately. As we said, Andy Yan had clashes with his China touring car commitments. There were date clashes that didn't allow him to do the full season. So he had to step aside. Their replacement, Kennedy Kasiri, he went out and he qualified on pole position in qualifying 1, extended the advantage in qualifying 2 and dominated the opening race at Sepang by 10 seconds over the field. In fact, he was pretty much untouchable. His teammate who came through, the Ecuadorian rookie 2 for TCR Asia, Diego Moran, now based in China, he came through on his debut with Liquimoli Team Engstler in the Volkswagen Golf and took position number 2. Tin Srichai, driving a Volkswagen at that point, the second of the 2016 Liquimoli Team Engstler cars, the car campaigned by Philippe Souza. He took that car to position number 3, but had struggled with gear shifting electronic issues that didn't allow him to down change under heavy braking. So he felt he lost a lot of time. That may have been part of his reason to go back to the Honda Civic for this weekend. Second race in Sepang, Diego Moran took the victory by 7 seconds over WS Lai and Abdul Katir. The 2 local stars were second and third for R Engineering. Part of the reason that happened, of course, was very early in the race. Tin Srichai and Kennedy Kasiri were battling over the same piece of real estate at the front of the field. They made contact in the hairpin, the final corner at Sepang. That created a little bit of damage for Tin Srichai and incurred him a drive-through penalty. It put Kennedy Kasiri off the circuit. He was forced into pit lane, and from there he finished well down the order. That allowed his teammate Diego Moran to walk away with top points. And here we are. There is your winner. A very excited 17-year-old Jasper Thong will take the victory. To his right, that is Terry Huang. To his left, Kennedy Kasiri, the young man who dominated the opening race. There is the Michelin team boss handing the TCR trophy across to Terry Huang from the Tianchi Racing team. Audi RS3 LMS TCR. Second place to Kennedy Kasiri, who has just been leapt in the championship points order by this man. The winner, very popular victory, effectively his home circuit, a circuit he loves. Very popular with the team. Kennedy Kasiri doesn't seem quite so impressed, but why not? He will come back and fight again during the race this afternoon. And that is victory to Jasper Thong. Now, Jasper Thong will start the next round of this championship this afternoon, round 4, from position number 8. So he has a lot of work to do ahead of him. Further forward from him, though, will be Kennedy Kasiri, who showed last time out, despite starting further down the order, very quickly through to the front of the field. And Terry Huang's already shown this weekend that his experience at the local circuit, his experience here at Zhuhai, is going to help move him forward too. And I'm sure you'll see David Chen in that number 88 Tianchi Racing Audi battling for position, because he showed that he certainly had the pace to run with the front. Interesting there. It looked like Jasper Thong wanted to spend a little bit more time on the podium and just enjoy that moment, taking that historic first victory for the new Audi RS3 LMS TCR. He will be back momentarily, of course. We will have the podium for the TCR Asia Cup, I do expect, as racing continues here at Zhuhai International Circuit. We're hoping that the rain stays away. We weren't expecting to see rain yesterday, yet it bucketed down during practice prior to qualifying. Cleaned the circuit, which was good, and we went out with the fastest pace we had seen all weekend. Again, it was David Chen that set the pace in the second leg of qualifying. Unfortunately for him, stewards deleted his fastest lap, which happened to be the one lap he put all 4 wheels across the curb at turn 4, went outside track limits, which the drivers had been warned about, and he had to have that lap scrubbed. There is Alex Liu from the Elegant Racing team, Sayat Leon driver. Second for Abdul Katir, and there he is again. Happy to be back on the top step of the podium. I think it'll take a while to remove that smile from his face, see whether or not he can manage to continue that into round 4 of the championship, the second race today. There's Eric Kay too on position number 4. So they've got the top 4 on the podium for the TCR Asia Cup. Abdul Katir, nice recovery there for his 5th outright in the end, or 6th outright behind Tin Srichray. And victory outright and victory in the Cup, and an extension of his championship points lead in the Cup standings for 17-year-old Jasper Tong. A nice result. So now the focus turns to the 4th round of the 2017 TCR Asia Series, and we're scheduled for a start at 4:40 this afternoon, which is just under 5 hours away. So wherever you are in the world, whether you're one of the Ecuadorian fans that has been supporting points leader Diego Moran so fantastically since the opening round, or whether you're from Thailand keeping a close eye on the battle between Tin Srichray and Kennedy Kasiri, or whether in fact you're just across the Pearl River, only an hour from here in Hong Kong, and keeping tabs on the Audi Hong Kong operation, Phoenix Racing Asia, and 17-year-old Jasper Tong. We will see you again this afternoon for round 4 of the 2017 TCR Asia Series.